Hi, how are you?
Sure, I'm excited with both sides. Thank you so much for accepting to have this interview. I'm really looking forward to know your insights about this thing. I know you're busy, and now it's the closing tour today.
No worries, no worries. I'm glad you're doing this assignment. Fantastic.
It's very nice. It looks really. I'm gonna go today. I would have loved if we did this meeting face to face, but just having the link, I said no. I'm gonna do it over here, and then today I'll be over there watching the closing tour for the.
You haven't have you visited the exhibition yet?
I'm gonna come today.
Do you want to meet afterwards?
I would love if we start doing this so we can have it like recorded, and then afterwards I can meet you and see you.
Okay, okay, fine.
It's not going to take a lot. I don't have a lot of things. And what I want to talk about is I want to concentrate on the exhibition itself, and then I want to talk about your insight as a person who's responsible of getting and showcasing and choosing, for an example, and giving chances, and your insights on the Arabic word and those Arabic artists that are performing their work. So basically, if we need to start off with Tashkeel, and we talk more about your mission, your vision, what is the things that you're thinking about in the area, specifically in Dubai, because I know you have different branches and you showcase in, for example, Lebanon and USA. Like there's a lot of different. No, you don't showcase, and that's
No.
something. So it's just here. There's a Tashkeel thing where they say I've read that you've already showcased in different places. I'm sure that I've read that on one of the talking about Tashkeel. Are you the only Tashkeel that we have?
We're the only contemporary art and design centre called Tashkeel in the world. Yes. And in the UAE, yes. And we have exhibited abroad, and we have welcomed artists from overseas, from different countries, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, and you exhibited in other areas, not just in Dubai.
Now and again, yes, very rarely.
Okay, so it's good. So I've understood well. Maybe I did not like ask the question. So let's start with the first about Tashkeel. Just a brief, your history. What are you looking forward? And for example, your mission over here.
Okay, so Tashkeel is 13 years old this year. And it was our mission when we were established is the same today as it was then. It is to nurture and enable UAE-based professional artists and designers, while contributing to the greater social fabric of the UAE. So it's about enabling professional artists and designers to pursue the career they trained for here in this country, and to embed creativity in the very fabric of society. And that's very much a wider audience development, youth engagement, community empowerment remit.
Yes, true. You also have other than just exhibiting those the artist's work, you also have workshops from them, and they can help people so they can have this creativity and perform. Over here, having it over here, how do you choose as a person who you have? I don't know if you're the only one who chooses. You choose the people that you would give them the chance to come, and as you said, it's over here in UAE based. So you have a lot of different nationalities, you have a lot of different cultures, a lot of different backgrounds. Some of them, they would come with a political message, others would come with just creativity and aesthetics, other would come just to put people or just point out this culture that we مثلا forgetting or we don't know about it. So this mixture of culture, is it hard to choose from?
No, not at all. We have a fairly structured exhibition program. See Tashkeel as the framework. We provide a structure of empowerment, and it is up to the artists and designers we work with to fill that frame. So, for example, our exhibition program is very well structured. So it consists of around 6 to 8 exhibitions a year.
Okay.
There's two open call exhibitions, and those exhibitions are group exhibitions and they are open to any artist and designer living and working in the UAE.
Mm-hmm.
One is thematic, and then one is general. It's our summer show, and we do select from that open call. So usually we get about 150 submissions,
Okay.
and then we sit down and we select the works that we would like to present in those exhibitions. Now, obviously, there's a curatorial rationale behind our themed open call every year. And then for the general open call, we are obviously looking for particular mediums, work that has been produced here at Tashkeel using our equipment and facilities. That's very important for us. But also it's a mirror that we hold up every summer and say, okay, this is the state and diversity and depth of the contemporary UAE art and design scene at the moment. In terms of who chooses, we don't have committees. We don't have any of that bureaucracy because the founder of Tashkeel, she is the decision maker. Sheikh Latifa bin Maktoum bin Rashid Al Maktoum is a fine artist herself. She's represented the UAE at the Venice Biennale. She's exhibited at the Guggenheim and many other prestigious institutions, both here in the UAE and elsewhere. So she walks the talk. And she ultimately decides the exhibition program each year. Now, in addition to those two open calls, what else do we exhibit? The rest is made up of work that has come out of our professional development programs. So when you've looked into Mays Al Baik's exhibition, A Terranean Love Note, you'll see that she is coming out of the Tashkeel Critical Practice Program. And that is a 1-year annual professional development program for visual arts practitioners. And each year we select around 4 out of around 80 applicants.
Okay.
We do
professional artists?
Yes, yeah. So they're usually in the category of emerging artists. So they're either working up to moving abroad and undertaking a master's, or they've just come back from a master's and they see this as a nice springboard as they move forward in their professional careers.
Yeah, about those exhibitions and the open calls that you have, do you accept students, for example, who feel that they can come and just present their work, their portfolio, and like have a chance to start from here without, for example, completing their bachelor's or their master's?
Absolutely, very good question. So we do welcome students, both in our workshop program as members of Tashkeel and also for our exhibitions. Now, our last exhibition before Mace's show was called COVID Conversations, and it was the first exhibition looking at the impact of COVID in the UAE. And in that show, we had a 13-year-old student showing her work. So, yeah, we are very much open to the next generation.
And they have, for an example, mentors or people that can help. Because what I've seen is that one of the stories that May said, you know, when she came to the actual place and she checked the place, then she had like this like new thing, you know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna add this balcony, I'm gonna do like adding stuff. So as I can see, some of the work are coming, people are coming, and then they're doing the work. And you've said that earlier, you know, about people who's gonna from just actual tashkil and not a work that is done and we exhibit it. So there's mentors, there's people that can help them, people that can guide them to, for an example, perfect their work and have it for to present it and showcase it.
Well, there's different strands. So you've got the critical practice program. As I said, that's a 1-year professional development program for visual arts practitioners. So during that time, a participant like Mace would undertake research. They'd then move forward into perhaps some experimentation with materials or media. And then they would move forward into production of the works that they wish to present in a formed concept that would make their solo outcome. Now, they have mentors that guide them along the way, in addition to the staff support here at Tashkeel. So Mace has had two mentors, I believe. One was Ala Yunus, the artist and curator, and the other one was Lawrence Abu Hamdan.
Yes, right.
So that structure for the critical practice program is very much mentor, independent research and experimentation leading to the creation of new works. Now, with our other sort of the other side of Tashkeel, the public workshops and the membership, yes, in terms of membership, once you join as a member of Tashkeel, you get access not only to a whole range of equipment and facilities, but also to the advice and guidance of an expert team here at Tashkeel. So, you know, just on Thursday, I sat down with one of our members and we had a crit session about the project she's currently working on. So we are there as the team to provide support and advice. We don't necessarily mentor, we mentor within the framework of the critical practice program.
Mm-hmm. Okay, talking about the people or the people that can come and become members, they should have an art background, they should have anything related to art from their background, or they can start, like it's just a hobby and they can come and start learning in Tashkeel.
For adult members, no, we very much want to see a commitment there. You don't have to have gone to art school, you can be self-taught. But the process is an assessment process. So if you want to join Tashkeel, you fill out a form and send it to us. Then we invite you to send in your portfolio, and then we invite you in for a chat. So we can show you around Tashkeel, but we can also learn about your practice. And that's really when we decide if somebody is suitable for membership or not. This building is full of very technical equipment. Our members use that equipment. Some know how to use some machines, and then they learn how to use the other machines. If we show you around Tashkeel and we see the fire in your eyes, and we see, you know, you're hungry to research, experiment, extend your practice, push the boundaries of your comfort zone, then ahlan wa sahlan, we welcome you into Tashkeel as a member.
That's perfect. So before moving to the actual exhibition, if you want to talk about Tashkeel and why is it why it's like what's is it special like with other regarding other exhibitions that we have in Dubai and the support that we have and the new things that you're always updating and coming. What can we talk about Tashkeel? You know, something that is, as what you said, something that is related to the Middle East and what support they are giving to the art in Middle East. Because we know that a lot of people now in the Middle East are looking at arts and they're different, like having a different perspective, especially the people that are elders who used to think that it's nothing. So now Tashkeel, what is like Tashkeel working on to change this perspective in the Arab world?
The art scene in the UAE has been around for millennia.
Yeah.
Too many people who have lived in the UAE for too long still believe that this has been imported. Artistic, creative expression is an Western import, and that it never existed here before, what, 2010? Ghalat. Absolutely wrong. In the 1970s, you had people, and 80s, you had people like Abdul Qadir Al-Rayis and Hussein Sharif traveling to Kuwait to study at the Higher Institute of Arts there. 1972, you had Abdul Qadir's first solo exhibition in Sharjah. So you had the Emirates Fine Art Institute in Sharjah that was launched, I think, in 1984, and that very much served as a home for many of the artists that have come out of the UAE and are now international. Mohammed Kadhim, for example, or Hassan Sharif, God bless his soul. So I want to put that straight, that art is in everybody's blood. It is a part of being human. It is a part of being part of a society. And you know, we are part of that ongoing growth and development here in the UAE. Talking about the wider sort of Middle East, North Africa region, yeah, a really important topic, because for Tashkeel, our priority, yes, is to strengthen those people who are living and working here, of all nationalities, but it's also about creating a strong, unified communication between other artists and designers who are living and working in the wider region. So whenever there's an opportunity to have an online discussion, a public online discussion with a practitioner who's based in Bahrain or Kuwait or Jordan or Morocco, we love that idea. And it's about, you know, collaborating with other institutions around the region to really bring the artists and designers that live and work here together, and so they can communicate and collaborate. That's really important.
Okay, so now if we need to move to the actual exhibition, what can you talk to me about, tell me about the Terranean Love Note for Mays Al Baik?
I'd rather leave that until you've seen it.
Okay, I've already talked with her a lot about her work and everything. I just want to know your, what's your insight on this exhibition? What do you think from Tashkeel perspective, from your personal perspective about the actual exhibition?
I used to be a journalist.
Yeah.
You need to see the exhibition, then you can ask me that question.
Okay. I go check the journal. I'm gonna come today, Azan, to check it and just finalize everything. I'd love to. I wanted to just write more about her past work, all of this thing, and the art scene, what's happening, and the fact of placement that she talked about, and the placeholder. I'm sorry, that she talked about in her work.
I'll give you something to sort of follow up when you come here and have a look.
Yeah.
The issue, going back to your earlier question about sort of, MENA-based artists and artists of Arab origin, it is very important that artists like Mays are taking the lead in defining their own identity in the 21st century. The borders and boundaries that have been imposed on this region over the last 150 years are no longer the way that the people in this region are defined. Those boundaries and borders, political frameworks are becoming more porous as people move from one country to another by wish or by force. And so, somebody like Mays, who is of Palestinian origin, with a Syrian passport, living in the UAE, how does she define her identity in 2021? Should it be defined? Or should we scrap everything that we use to define identity and belonging and place and come up with a new framework moving forward? That's the dilemma, I think, that she deals with in this exhibition, not only for herself as a woman of Arab origin living in a third country, but also for anyone who is living in the UAE who is not of this place. So she does talk about, in the exhibition, she does explore the linguistic changes in how we talk about residents. No longer expats, it's about residents. And that's both in Arabic and English, the words that are used now indicate more a feeling of settling, not just passing through. So that's something that we found very interesting, and we very much wanted to support. The other point about her exhibition is language. The Arabic language, whether it's Fusha or Amniya, is dying. Everybody mixes up one language to another, you know? Inti min Lubnan, صح?
Yeah, I'm Lebanese.
Okay, Faransiyya, Inglesiyya, Lubnaniyya, you know what I mean? It's a whole mix. And that's how people talk Arabic now.
True.
Whereas she's talking about the changes that affect her Arabic, the way she speaks Arabic, even in a physical sense as well. So that's really interesting, having an exhibition that focuses on the Arabic language.
That's what's special from her exhibition. That's why I wanted to go and just like talk about it and write about it. And I saw most of the work online, and we've already talked about that. Just today, I'm gonna go and see it live. Let's move forward with the exhibition. What you've said is completely perfect, and literally what's the insight that we want to know from your perspective. The fact is that a lot of the Arab designers, I want to focus on those Arab artists, I'm sorry, when they come and they want to do anything, they would come and just put their political background or put their cultural background. And we don't see a lot of Arabic artists that just come and do something for aesthetic. This is just because of what is happening and what is happening in the world now that just makes us feel that we have this pressure to always have this thing with us and talk about it and just implement it in our arts, implement it in all of the things that we're doing. And this is what happened with Mays. She's a Palestinian. She had like her work was influenced by all of the things that she's living, and she said that she feels that she has this pressure to talk about it. She feels that I can't just go for aesthetic and not just give a part of my work or part of what I do regarding this, and to be influenced with all of the scene that we are having now.
So what's your question again?
I talk a lot and then I make you laugh. So I just want to know those Arabic artists that you're getting and you're having this political and this cultural, like always they want to be influenced and their art is always influenced. Is it affecting the art? Is it letting people to come more and connect more people? Or is it just letting people know, okay, it's the same thing. We're talking about the same issues. It's always cultural or political background. It's always something that's that has a bigger meaning in the art and not just simply art. So I just want to talk about this part.
Okay, got it.
Fine.
I don't think any work that an artist or a designer creates is solely decorative. Mm-hmm. You go back hundreds of thousands of years, works that we now see as solely decorative had a significance that has been lost through time.
Okay.
I think that work that artists produce in whatever century, in whatever part of the world, is their means of their own self-expression. It's how they see the world around them. You know, artists and designers have a particular gift in being able to observe society and changes in society. And I think that objectivity that they have, you know, they've always been seen as being on the outskirts of society. That's for another conversation. But having that objectivity allows them to shed light on some aspects of our lives that we take for granted. So whatever the work, if it's even just you know, a pretty plate or a pretty painting, it still has an underlying subtext which may well point in some way, shape or form to politics, to religion, to society, to culture, to economics, to industrialization, you know, to a whole host of layers. Look at every work, whether it's a piece of designed furniture or an artwork, as an onion that is layered. And the more you learn about that work, you peel off a new layer of the onion that gives you more insight or triggers another conversation from that work.
I'm sorry.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes all sense. I'm sorry, I had a problem with the charger. I was very and I completely forgot the thing. I'm so sorry about that. But what you've said, I was always concentrating about what you said, and this is what we want to know, and this pressure that we have. And it's not just in arts, it's always in different works, or even if you want to talk about asking anyone, why did you go and choose this actual career, or you talk about for example, medicine or engineer or everything, we always have this cultural background or political background that we want to implement. And it's not something that is new to the scene. Just talking about the fact that having someone that is aesthetic, do you think from your perspective, if an artist, an Arabic artist that would come and just tells you, I want to produce art that is just for aesthetic, just to get people, would you think in a different, look at him as a different way, or it's normal to have this?
I've never met an artist who just wants to make something pretty.
Just pretty, aesthetic. So there's nothing in this scene.
I've never met an artist whose only motivation is to make something pretty. The artists that I've met, and you've got to remember, I've been working in the Middle East and North Africa art scene since 1991.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone that says, I just want to make something pretty. They have a burning drive, a burning desire to communicate their thoughts and their beliefs and their perspectives on life to the audience. And they choose to use digital, sculpture, paint to be that channel of communication. So I think, you don't become an artist because you can't do anything else. You become an artist because you won't do anything else. You become an artist because those careers, those other career paths, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, you could probably do them, but your heart wouldn't be in it. Your passion is in artistic expression. And it's a life full of sacrifice. It really is a sacrifice and social judgment. Not every family wants an artist as a son or a daughter. So to really become a full-time professional artist takes a lot of guts and determination and focus, 100%. So you've got to be hungry to say more than just, oh, I want to make a pretty thing.
Yeah. I've met people who says that. I've met students who says that. That's why I've asked the question. And
they're young and they're just on the beginning of their journey.
Yeah. And then things would start and it becomes completely different. And this is what I wanted to prove with my question, that it's just bigger. It has this bigger scope and it has this bigger thing. And it's not just something that is pretty and we can just leave on. Because the political scene, for an example, all of those resistance movements, we had a lot of public areas, and those public areas were full of arts, the graffiti and the drawings and all of those sculptures that we have. So it's a very important aspect in our life that we cannot just move it aside. Now let's talk about just the recent things. We're going to end it. It's going to be completely fast. How has COVID-19 affected Tashkeel and affected the work and the exhibitions and what you're doing in a very brief way, and how you're coping with it as an organization?
That's a really good question. So yes, we closed down for several months, like everybody else last year. And when we reopened, of course, people were not queuing outside Tashkeel to get in. There was still a fear around, and there continues to be that. We are working with artists and designers who delve into their emotions to create. And if you are scared for yourself, scared for your family, you've got other pressures around you in life, that is going to block your creative flow. And there are still some of our members who admit they haven't started creating at the same rate as they did before COVID. So there's that mental health issue there. And we very much tried to address that straight away. When we went into lockdown last year, we released a toolkit, a mental health toolkit for artists and designers in collaboration with a psychologist. It's been difficult, but the show must go on. That's my mantra. And we resumed our exhibition program on the 1st of September. And we resumed our workshops then. Now, our workshops, we have to maintain social distancing. There is a limited capacity. On no point will we compromise the health and welfare of anyone who walks into this building. We are not a hospital, we are an art centre. Let's put it in perspective. But at the same time, creating is part of who we are as humans, and we need to have the ability and freedom to continue creating and work through all the pressures and problems we're facing at the moment. So I would say we are more important than ever to help people work through the pressures of life at the moment.
And that's what's nice and optimistic, and it just keeps us moving with all of the things that is happening, and the mental health issue that is completely big now, and people are really concentrating on it, and we need to come back and get back to our normal life. Just get the creativity and everything to work, because you see everything came into a pause in one way or another, and especially the creativity, seeing you can see it or understand it more. So thank you so much for the interview. It was a very fruitful one. And I'm really happy that you accepted and I was able to do this interview and get your insight on her exhibition and on the art scene, basically. And your, what is happening, your mission, what is something new for people that are into art and they need to find a place, or your community, just to combine, to join and see people and just talk, because basically art is about talking to others and getting their actual it makes sense, the critics that they will give. It's not just your work is bad or any of the other things. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll meet you soon today, and inshallah everything's gonna be good, and then afterwards it's gonna open and we'll have more and more exhibitions.
Well, jolly good luck with your assignment, and hope to see you later on today, all right?
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.